Hi, I'm Rebecca. Welcome to my sewing room. This is So Be It. This week I have a little bit of a different video for you. Don't worry, next week we will be right back to making dresses. So for the last 5 days, I have been out of town on a sewing trip, basically, kind of all over the East Coast of the United States. The first part of my trip I spent in Eastern Pennsylvania. The first part of my trip, I did part of the All Mid-Atlantic Shop Hop. It's more of a quilting event. The Mid-Atlantic Shop Hop goes to a whole bunch of fabric stores, but mostly quilting stores all over. There's 9 different regions, and these are names of all of the participating stores. Every time you go to a store that is participating, you get a sticker and you get quilting pattern blocks. So these are all of the quilting pattern blocks that I got, because those are the only stores that I actually hit for this shop hop. Obviously, you guys have seen I'm not much of a quilter, but I do really want to start quilting. So I got some things to do that. And I'll go ahead and share all of this stuff with you shortly. The other half of my trip, I went to Patterncon 2025. It was a pattern convention, all about learning how to make different patterns, how to manipulate patterns. So I'll go ahead and show you everything I got with the Mid-Atlantic Shop Hop, and what I'll be starting and what you will be able to look forward to seeing on my channel. The majority of this stuff should be put out here. And then I'll go ahead and go over what kind of classes were offered at the Patterncon, and everything that was going on there. So as you can see on my table here, it is full of stuff. There's a good, nice glare there. All right, let's see if I can get it fixed. Okay. So you can see on my table, it is full of stuff. The majority of this stuff I did get while I was doing the Mid-Atlantic Shop Hop. So right here is a pile of fabric. So we'll go ahead and go through that. This is a quilting cotton, but I fell in love with that print. So this will be made into a dress shortly. I'm not exactly sure what style dress. I haven't come up with that, but I did get 4 yards. I'm pretty sure that's all I got. I don't think I got 5. I think I got 4 yards of this. It was a clearance fabric. I think it was $6 a yard. I'm not positive, but it was a good price. Okay. This I got at Burkholder Fabric it's in Pennsylvania, but I can't remember what little town it is. The majority of the fabric in this store was quilting cotton, but they have an entire wall of apparel fabric, and that's what this is. It is a cotton. I'm not exactly positive. It reminds me of like a lightweight linen. You can't really see the texture in the video that I'm trying to get. But it's really nice and lightweight, drapey, very flowy. So I got 3 yards of this, and I'm planning to make a short fall dress out of this fabric. This next one, I got 2 yards of this border print. And I will probably save this for next spring or summer, because I do want to make a dress with this, but I also want it to be kind of 4th of July-ish. So the red, the white, and the blue. I'll pull in some solids, possibly some solid print-ish kind of fabric to make some sort of dress out of this, with the border print. I have some ideas rolling around in my head. I'm just not exactly sure what I'm gonna do otherwise. It's got some nice poppies, and I want to say those are daisies, but they're not really. I can't remember what the name of those kinds of flowers are. But I saw a picture of it and I fell in love with it and wanted to make a dress out of it. So I'll figure out how to use those borders and make it look really fancy. The next fabric I got is a rayon print. I got 3 yards of this. It is really lightweight, really soft. So I'll be making a fall dress out of this as well. Again, I don't know the design that I will be making with it, but that is my plan. It's so soft. I love the feel of it. This might be the first dress I'm making instead of that red one, but I love this fabric. Finally, the last fabric that I got, the last apparel fabric I got. Again, I can't remember what store this is. This was not part of the Mid-Atlantic Shop Hop. It was a fabric store that had apparel fabric, but because of the area I was in, the majority of the apparel fabric is what you would find on the Amish and the Mennonite in the area. So a lot of it's going to be like a basic solid black, dark blue, gray. There's not a ton of colors. There are some pastel basic colors, but they don't have a ton. They've got so many options for solids though. I will say that. There was a small section of clearance fabric, and not sure why this was on clearance because we're coming into the fall, so maybe they thought it was a spring fabric. But this is a sweater knit fabric. It is, I'm gonna say a bluish gray. It looks, it's pretty true to color on there. You just can't see a ton of the color with the rose gold dots on there. So I do plan to make a fun, fancy little sweater out of this. I got 3 yards of it. It was $5 a yard, so a sweater for 15 bucks. That won't be bad at all. We went into, it was Burkholder Fabrics that we went into, that I got the couple fabrics from, but I found some much needed tools that, some much needed tools that are really hard to find. Since I've moved my sewing room around, my foot pedal slides so much. So I actually found this pedal pad. It's got some grippy fabric here. So once I'm done with this video, I'm gonna go ahead and plop this underneath my foot pedal, and in the future, I will let you know how well this works and keeps my pedal from sliding around. Hopefully it works like a charm. Another tool that I got that I have been looking for forever and have not been able to find is a pressing bar with clapper. I'm not exactly sure what you're going to use the bar for, probably closer to quilting, but I have been wanting a clapper forever to go ahead and seal in those nice pressing seams. And so this, I'm so excited for this. It's gonna go right with my ironing tools. Final tool I got, but I didn't even know they made. I have been, every time I hand sew, I have a metal thimble that I do like to use. It's the one that I found works best. But every time I have nails, which is like all the time, whether they're the acrylics or the regular press-ons, they just don't quite fit right. So I found a leather thimble, and hopefully that will fit and it won't be really, it won't press so much on my nails and make it hurt. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this out. So now on to more of the fun stuff. I love sewing tools, so that's fun for me too. But more of the fun stuff, not for quilting. I found some tags. Thanks, I made it, and made by Mom. This will obviously go on the stuff I make for my kids, but these ones will be used in my own clothing. A couple freebies from the Mid-Atlantic Shop Hop. One of Primrose Fabrics was giving away free fat quarters. What else is in my bag? Might just be free fat quarters. I thought something else was in that bag too, but I might be wrong. Hold on. And so Primrose Fabrics, you just got whatever they gave you, and I got this Halloweenish fabric, which is kind of fun. Purple, but then bright orange and yellow, possibly like a smoldering kind of print. And then at Bird in Hand Fabric, where I got the rayon, that's where it was. I got the orange rayon from them. You also, just for getting your black card and your sticker in your magazine, you got a free fat quarter, whatever you chose. And they had like a stand with the fat quarters that you could choose. And this is the fat quarter I chose. I really like the red and the blue flowers on the cream background. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, but I will be keeping it. I really like it. So now for some of the projects I got. The first project I'm going to do, because it looks, well, maybe not quite the first, but the first machine sewing project that I'm going to do that I bought is this double zip wristlet. This has the pattern in it, and it has all of the hardware that I need. So it's already got the zippers and the hooks here. You need fusible interfacing. I already have that. Fusible batting, which I can get at Walmart. And you just need a fat quarter of that. I have the zippers, the swivel hook, spray adhesive if you're using non-fusible, but I'll be using fusible, and binding clips it says are helpful for sewing the zippers. I do have clips already, so we'll see if I need clips or pins for that. But I got the 3 different fabrics I needed. You just needed 3 fat quarters for this project. And I'm not the best at choosing coordinating fabric, but I think I did pretty good with what I chose for this bag. And it was the Old Country store that I found this at. Obviously, I got all of this together. I'm gonna go ahead and open up this fat quarter so you can see what the print actually is. I'm not sure what it says on here. Oh, this is cool. That's what I thought it said. The beauty of life. And then I have the floral and the solid blue. I'm not sure which one I will use for which, but you will see this project, so you'll get to see. I thought those were good coordinating fabrics for this bag. I did get another pattern, another bag pattern, and it is the Manhattan bag. This has just the pattern in it, and I did not go ahead and get any of the fabric, but I should be able to find the fabric that I need around here. I did, however, get the hardware for the bag, the D-rings and the adjustable strap. I also really want to start quilting. And I found a picture while I was going through the Facebook page for the shop hop of a blanket that was hanging on the wall of the shop, and I said, I really want that pattern, but I really want the kit, so hopefully I can find it. Eventually, I found it, and I'm really excited. I found it at one of the very last shops we went to. It is an Annabelle blanket, and I love cows, so I'll be making this blanket. There are 3 options. You could do a wall hanging, you can do a throw, which this one is the throw, or you could do a full size bed size, which this is the pattern for the full size. I think there's a colored one in here. There is. So here are the 3 different layouts. This is the wall hanging, this is the throw size, and this is the bed. I'll be making the bed size. Unfortunately, I like hard projects, obviously, like the hard designs, and I decided to bite off a monster for my first project, but that's okay. There's tons of quilt pieces to make this one block. And then happily, I found the kit. The friend of mine that was with me actually found it. I saw the blanket on the wall and she went and found the kit for me. So I do have the entire kit. So these are the fabrics that I will be using to make this cow blanket. I love all the gingham colors and then all of the solids. It's quite nice that I have all of this already ready to go because I do have such a hard time for sure picking out the right coordinating fabric. However, I almost gave up on finding that pattern, let alone that kit. And in one of the stores that I went into previously, I found a different cow blanket pattern that I decided I'm going to buy. So now I do have a second cow blanket pattern that I will be making down the line. But it is also another very cute one. Mini Coos, it's Highland Cows. So that's the pattern I got. The next pattern has two different patterns in it. And it's blankets, United States blankets. And then obviously I really like cows. And I found a Christmas wall hang that I'll probably make into a blanket by adding blocks on the outside of this. Two more patterns that are not blankets that I have, and everything is already included. I have Christmas cow ornaments that I will be making, and this will be hand sewing. I will be starting on this project next. This will be the next thing that I am actually doing. You will see a couple dress videos before, but this will be one of my videos. And a brown cow flag. Both of these have, yes, that's what I thought, wool felt fabric in them, all ready to go. I think all I have to do is cut out the pattern pieces and follow the directions to sew it all together. But you will see what I do or how they have to be made when I get there. The final things I got for the shop hop are panels that I will be using in future quilts or other small things for future projects. Because this first one is not a panel, it's like a handkerchief size, and I'm not positive what I'll be doing with it, but I'll be doing something with it. Very thin, obviously, as you can see with these flowers, but the saying on there, for by grace are ye saved through faith, Ephesians 2:8. So I found this at the same store that had the Amish Mennonite apparel fabric that I got the sweater. That was a cat that I got the sweater fabric from. So I'll use this for something. The next panel is a panel I got to make Marty a quilt. The United States. At the bottom is all of the national parks. Or many of the national parks. I guess I'm not positive if it's all of them or not. But this will be made into a quilt for Marty. This next one will be made into a quilt for me. And I'm not sure that I will use it as an actual panel or if I'll be cutting it apart and using it for other things. Not for other things. It'll still be a quilt, but used in a different way, I should say. The final one is already wrapped up nicely in a bag, but it has a picture on the front of what it is. And this will be made into a quilt. And I think for this, I will be using the Shop Hop block patterns that I got to put these on the outside to make a full-size quilt. I thought that would just be really fun to commemorate the trip because it was this Americana theme. There's got to be an actual name for the theme this year because every store had their own different fabric printed specifically for this year's Shop Hop. They were all in the Americana idea. This is the Uncle Sam pattern, but as you can see, it's using some of these squares from this panel. And this was done throughout all of the stores. So I will probably be using these blacks to make this quilt and keep it on theme with the shop hop. One more thing. I absolutely love history, and Primrose Quilts had, well, many stores had books, but Primrose Quilts had a book that I found that I just had to have. Civil War quilts. It has stories about why quilts were made, the people that made quilts, how they were used. But this book took information from like 13 different quilts that were actually from the Civil War. There's also patterns in here. You can trace the pattern pieces and make the quilt blocks that were used in the Civil War. So I fell in love with this, and I will eventually be making some of the patterns that are in here for some quilts. And I think that is my final shop hop. Not true. I did find a sticker that I bought. As you sow, so shall you rip. Isn't that the truth? Not sure where I'm going to put this, but I will be putting this somewhere. Oh yeah, another freebie, one other freebie, oddly enough, from the country store for getting our book stamped. We got an emery board. We had to choose, and I have the wedding ring or the wedding band, double wedding band emery board print. I thought that was fun. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to Patterncon. Patterncon was a pattern convention where a whole bunch of people gathered that liked to make patterns, to talk about patterns, sewing patterns for clothing. And we learned a ton. There were tons of teachers there. We all took 3 classes, or you could all take up to 3 classes, but there was like 30 something classes offered. It was a 2-day event, well, day and a half, all day Saturday, and then it ended at 2 o'clock on Sunday. This was the first year for Patterncon, and it was amazing. Things like registration was a little bit slow, but it was very, very organized, so there weren't any problems. No one missed anything. It started a little bit late, but that gave the opportunity for everyone to get in there and in their seats and registered. And there will be another one next year, so I'm really excited about that. The creator of Patterncon, her name's Trisha Camacho, and I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong. I don't know that I've actually heard it in person to pronounce it correctly, so I'm sorry. But Trisha, from what I have seen, she is another contributor on YouTube. She owns the Pattern Place, which is like an online school for patterning. I'm not sure all of the classes offered because I'm not on the Pattern Place yet, and I've only recently heard about it. And they only open registration twice a year. I think there's a limited number of people that can get in each year. But either way, she's a real person. She's reputable. She definitely knows what she's talking about. I did not take any of her classes over the weekend because the majority of her classes were either ones I didn't need or ones that I went, I'm not quite there yet. She had what was her first class called? Abstract Origami Pattern Making. And I thought that would be such a cool class, but I'm just not there yet. I just don't need that yet. So I didn't take any of her classes, but she's a great teacher, and she had all amazing teachers. So, the classes that were offered, I'll go ahead and read the list of classes that they had. A one-piece yoga pants pattern in 4 different looks, sloper for cosplay and costumes, Love to sew kits, creating your perfect core raglan patterns. Create a 1940s bodice with haslam. Pattern from an unlined garment. That was my first class. Drape and fit a bodice sloper using only 2 measurements. Draping. The rosy skirt, one skirt, infinite possibilities. Where are my measurements on this pattern? That was about vintage patterns, I think. Oh no, that was about regular patterns. Sorry. Historical recreation of late Victorian and Edwardian ladies' garments. Demystifying vintage sewing patterns and abstract origami pattern making. Those were all of the classes offered in the first session. The second session classes: efficient workflow for pants fitting, creating Victorian Edwardian patterns. Let's draft a bralette and panty. Experimental pattern making. That one probably would have been a fun one. Love to draft knits, using a core pattern to draft the knit garments of your dreams. Basic grading. I took that class. Clone your favorite pants without taking them apart. Digital pattern making. Drafting vintage patterns, all genders with scale rulers. Smart Start pattern drafting tools, terms, and confidence boosters. Pad a dress form as your body double. Pattern adjustments for projector sewing. Sleeve fitting, and corsets. Where do I start? So that was all of the second session classes on Saturday. And then Sunday, there was one class session, working in a costume shop. What, how, where? How to read a pre-1950s pattern. Re-thriftozing, taking thrift store finds and giving them new life. Custom sketching silhouette. Adjusting non-stretch pattern to stretch. That's the one I took because I've been wanting to do that. Bust support through the ages. Order of construction. Embracing unique body shape. Why am I still sewing at midnight? Understanding procrastination for makers. And unisex pattern hacking patterns for better fit. So those were all of the classes offered. All 3, because since we were only allowed or able to take 3, all 3 of my classes I absolutely loved. My first teacher was Mackenzie Schultz. Yes, Mackenzie Schultz. She makes patterns from like dresses, that vintage dresses. She's done many patterns for museums. She has done grading for the industry. She's done so much. She was so knowledgeable. So the first class I took was drafting a pattern from an unlined garment. I learned so much that way. And so now I am working on drafting a pattern for a princess dress, princess seam dress that I've had for years that is now too small for me and has been too small for me for the last couple of years, but I absolutely love it. So I'm really excited to be able to hopefully remake this dress. The other class I took with her was Intro to Basic Grading, and I got this entire booklet from her, and it shows you the actual industry way to grade regular bodice with no dart, a bodice with 2 dart, and a princess seam bodice, and a skirt. I think the pants might be in here too. I'm not positive. Oh, and sleeves. And multiple different shaped sleeves as well. So I've learned so much from this because I have a pattern from the 1970s that I found at a garage sale, and it needs to be graded up because it's a size 10 and I am not. But when I first started grading it, I started to distort the pattern, so I stopped, and I knew that that wasn't right. So this class has given me that extra knowledge that hopefully will get me to a final product. But if I can't get myself there, Mackenzie is an amazing teacher and gave her information to every person in the class, but made sure to let me know to send pictures and ask questions through email so that she can help me if I get stuck. So that was really awesome. The final class I took was converting my woven pattern to knit. That was with Jennifer. I cannot remember Jennifer's last name. And now I feel bad because I don't have it written down. I probably do have it in a picture because all of her information was on PowerPoint. And so I just took pictures of all of the slides because she went through it quite quick. Every class was only a 1 hour class. So we didn't get time for the hands-on of actually converting a pattern from woven to stretch. But she has practiced and practiced and practiced and kind of come up with what seems to be a really good conversion, or a really good way to break down your pattern pieces and to adjust them so that you don't completely distort the shape of the garment, but it will still work with knits. So I'm really excited to get started on learning that, because I would like to take my woven slopers and make it into a knit sloper as well, because I would love to be able to just have all of my slopers ready to go, and I can grab those and make whatever I want out of it. So there, not only did we have classes at Patterncon, but there were vendors at Patterncon as well. Not an overwhelming amount. I want to say about 10. I could be wrong on the number. I did not purchase something from everyone, so I cannot actually tell you everyone who was there, but I can remember some. I do know Jay Stearns Designs. Oh, Jennifer Stearns. That's her name because it's her company. She had a table of patterns there. Ditto Form, which is a dress form company that basically makes a copy of your body without the arms and the legs so that you can have your own dress form that works for you. The lady that was there, her name is Carol, and she was very sweet. Mrs. Depue's Vintage was there, and I did purchase from her. She had a pattern alteration and grading book, so I went ahead and got that, and there is tons of things in here to learn. So I'm really excited about learning that, or using that, and using the grading lessons that I got with Mackenzie to figure out all my pattern grading. I did also buy a pattern for Mrs. Depue, and it's a pattern that I have never even attempted. It's nothing like I've ever attempted, but I'm kind of excited about it. I got a 1950s French brassiere pattern. So the long brassiere or the regular bra. And I thought this might be fun to go ahead and try to make, especially since I do wear some 1950s clothes. Right now I do have them all fitted with my modern garments, but I would love to see how they work with an actual vintage garment. Stephanie Canada was there with Backroom Finds, and she had a few about three or four fabrics. She had a handful of notions. Actually, she had mostly notions. She had some ribbons, she had some laces, she had zippers and buttons and snaps and all sorts of things like that. And she had a stack of vintage pictures. Unfortunately, I didn't find any that I just had to have because I was looking so that I could get some pictures hanging up on my bookshelves over here on the sides where I have room. Thought it might be fun, but I couldn't find any that I loved. I did, however, she had a few patterns there, and I did find one that I just had to have, and it's big enough I shouldn't have to grade it at all, but if I do, it'll be only slight grading. Nighttime Caftan. It is from, what's the date on this one? It's probably in the instructions, and this is in a nice acid-free bag that she uses. So I'm not taking it out of the package yet, but this will be made soon because I will guaranteed I will fall in love with this dress. There was another pattern company, and now I can't remember. It was an indie pattern company, and now I can't remember the name that they had there. So unfortunately, I'm sorry, I cannot plug that. I also did not get any of their patterns, so I don't have anything to actually show you. The next table was Porcelain, and I don't have the book that I did buy from them because it will be shipped, but it was like a complete pattern designs book that I got from Porcelain. This is how, actually, I have the actual logo. There's this company here. And it was like a complete pattern design book. So I'm really looking forward to getting that in the mail. It should be here in the next 2 weeks, she said. On top of me purchasing that from her, she gave everyone freebies who was at, hey, stop it, who was at the convention. A little package of their guide to bra making supplies and another guide for bra making and lingerie making supplies, and a small package of free notions. So underwear, lace, bows, and a couple bra clips and straps here. That was her. The next one, oh, what were they called? I didn't get anything at the next table either. It was basically already pre-made stuff, and since I'm a crafter, I didn't get anything that was already made. So I'm sorry, I can't plug that one either. The final vendor that was there for vending, I'm not sure the actual name of them, but it could be Folkwear Patterns was possibly their name. But whoever sells these, they were there as well. I got a coupon from them somewhere, but I'm not sure where I put it. So, anyways, I did get something from Folkwear. I will be ordering more of their patterns in the future because I really like the patterns they have. They're like vintage patterns, but more of a modern idea here. So I did get this cloak pattern. I do already have fabric to make a coat, which I will be making, but I will also be finding fabric for a cloak because cloaks are really fun. I like the idea of wearing a cloak, especially if I don't need it completely closed. Or, you know, if I have a big dress or something on, it'll be nice to wear a cloak. The final thing that I purchased at Patterncon was at Trisha's table, so I assume it was hers. She didn't write it, but she was selling it, and it is Clone Your Clothes. So I'm really excited to get into this book, and I think it's just like the making your pattern from an online garment idea. So there's even more information in here of how to figure that out. So I'm really excited to get in and pattern with this. So you will see more of this soon. Last but not least, there's just tons of free things that were given away at Patterncon. A lot of them were discounts to creative reuse shops and other fabric stores and whatnot, but sewing design professionals. If there's anything I'm going to need, and if I get it soon enough, I could possibly still have a discount. I'm not sure how long the coupon codes will last for the Patterncon coupons, but this is an entire stack of companies that gave away free discounts. Overall, I had a great 5 days. I absolutely loved the joy of checking out the quilting shops and really looking at quilting patterns and figuring out, yep, I'm gonna quilt. And yes, these projects are gonna take some time, but I'm really kind of looking forward to them. Also, I love learning, and especially since I've been really passionate about making my own patterns and designing my own clothes and figuring all of this stuff out. It was a great event. I can't wait for next year in Atlanta because I am planning to go unless something happens and I can't. I will be there. It was a great group of people. Everybody that put it on and all of the volunteers that signed up were amazing, perfectly helpful. Everybody was so welcoming. I learned so much. All of the teachers were very happy to answer questions that you had, to help clarify anything. So overall, it was great. Thank you. Let me go ahead and who knows, maybe you'll see it. Thank you, Trisha, for putting it. I hope to see what you have for having the future for next year. I'm sure it's going to be great. Oh yeah, there are a couple bags back there as well. I forgot to mention that pink purplish one is from Sorority. They gave out bags to multiple tables. There was a Pattern Place bag that Trish filled with snacks for everyone. That was a sponsor from her company. We got actual Patterncon bags that had even more of the free discount codes and stuff in it. Oh, Threads magazine came through and donated a Threads catalog to every participant at the convention, which was really cool. I was hoping it would possibly be like the fall catalog, like an early release of the fall catalog, but unfortunately it wasn't. It was a spring catalog and I already have it, but it's the thought that counts, and there were a lot of people there that didn't already have it, so it was amazing. And who knows, if I lose my first one or it gets ripped or I've got animals, it could get ruined, I'll still have a backup. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. I think that's it. But if you are interested in learning about making patterns, check out Patterncon, check out the Pattern Place, and check out Trisha's YouTube channel, which is, unfortunately I can't remember it, but if you look up Trish, Camacho is how you spell her last name, Camacho. If you look her up, I'm sure you will find her. Search Patterncon and you will find her. Creative Costume Academy. That's her YouTube. I just remembered it. So check her out there. That's all I have for you this week. And next week, you will have a regular video next week. So thank you for watching this week. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button for me. If you have any comments, any questions, any clarifications about anything I talked about, possible more information that I could always go back and find for you if you are not sure, go ahead and let me know. And if you do not want to miss any of my videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified when I post a video, go ahead and hit that notification bell, and YouTube will let you know every single time I post, which is usually on Tuesdays. Thank you for watching Rebecca's Sewing Room. This was So Be It.